Okay, I rearranged how some of my stuff is here. Let me just try something here for a minute. I have the right, yep. Okay. I'm going to leave that. I don't know that. Just trying to see. And unfortunately, I don't have editing, so I can't take that out. But I did want to see if it looked any different. Okay, we're going to start, whatever it is. This is Sonia with Stamping Around the Dining Room Table. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would be happy to be yours. If you go to my, you can go to my webpage, Stamp Around the Table, that's stampinup.net. There you can find out a little more about me, see when I'm having classes, any other events I might be having. You can also see our products. You could place an order. If you do place an order that's less than $150, use the host code, please. If you have an order of $150 or more, that qualifies as a party, so don't use the host code, and you will get some host products that you can choose. Okay, now I had someone ask me if I could do a tutorial on like basic card making, and I have done one before, but it's been a long time, and so I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do for this week. I started yesterday on my Facebook Live, which I've now shared to YouTube, and so if you did not see that, you can go back and look at that. Many people that watch these, most likely it's going to be like not something that they're that interested in because they've been stamping for a while, but it's definitely for beginning stampers, people that are learning or wanting to learn how to stamp. Okay, in that I did talk about some of the different products that are needed in order to be able to make cards. And obviously you need some materials. So I am using in here the some of our, I have it right here, I just want so I can show you maybe. Hope that's the wrong page, but I'm using, if I can find it here, is this it? This is it. I'm using our note cards and envelopes, okay, because it's a very good basic set. It gives you 20 cards and 20 envelopes. The cards, when they're finished, are 5 inches by 3.5 inches. So it's a little smaller than an A2. The A2 that we do most of the time is the finished card is 4.25 by 5.5. So it is a little smaller, but it does go through the mail. Okay, another choice you may wish to make is we have some white assorted memories and more cards and envelopes. The larger of the size you can mail, the smaller will not go through the mail. Okay, then we also each catalog also has some memories and more cards and envelopes that coordinate with some products in the current catalog. So if that was something that you're interested in, those cards are 4 by 6, and the one from the annual catalog is called hand penned. And in our mini catalog, it goes with heart and home, okay, and it's a little different there. Our new annual catalog that goes live May 3rd will have a new set, okay. So, but the things like the note cards and envelopes are there all the time, and you can get them either in basic white or very vanilla. Okay, so you need something like that. Now, you also need something, you need to have some ink so that you can stamp. And I ended up using for when I did, what's it here? I ended up using our Memento black ink right here. Okay, when I did yesterday, everything I stamped was in black. Okay, and it was just straightforward, just stamping. But if you want to add different colors, you can go back to our color collections. Now, because we have so many colors, you probably are not going to get all of them at once. But when you decide what your stamp set is that you want, you can then look and see, is there one or maybe two colors that you feel would do well with that stamp set? And so then you can add a little more color to it if you want, rather than just having black. Okay, but it is always your choice with that. If you decided you wanted to be able to color in what you are doing, there's a few different choices. We do have watercolor pencils, and the first assortment is 13 pencils for $16. The second is 10 pencils for $12.50. So, that is something to think about. Our Stampin' Write markers that are a water-based marker, they have kind of like a brush tip one end, and the other end is like a little pen. And those are only available in the stamp sets so it'd be like, over here it's divided brights, neutrals, regals, subtles, and then there's in colors. Okay, so you end up getting all of the colors. So there's 10 markers in each, and it's $30 for the set. So you might not want to start out with that. The watercolor pencils may be something that's more affordable for you. Many of our colors also have a Stampin' Blend, which is an alcohol marker. Some of the colors don't have them, but it's $9. Well, I said $9. Yeah, it's $9 because you get a light and a dark together. Okay. So again, that might be something you want to consider. It may not. You might want to wait to see how well you like stamping. If you have either watercolor pencils at home or even just plain colored pencils, you can use those. Okay. We do also, I didn't mention this yesterday, but we do have some soft pastels, which also could be used for coloring. That's like a chalk. All right. So there are a few choices that you need to make right from the beginning. One of the things you're also going to need is, let me just find them because I just realized I forgot to mark it in here, is you need to have something to attach the stamps that you get to, because years ago they were all on a wood block. Now they are not, and you attach them to a block, and they just have a sticky back so that they can be attached. The one that is the most common is a D block, and this is a D block here. Okay, I'll read what it says. It is 2 7/8 by 2 11/16. Okay, and many stamps fit on that. We have some smaller ones for smaller stamps, and then there's larger ones for larger stamps. Okay, and I did on the because I chose the stamps that I chose had a larger stamp. This is on, make sure I'm telling you correctly, an I block. Okay, the I block is, I put it on there so it's a little bigger. We also have, it will just fit on our smaller block that's thin like this, that shape, and that's an H block. Okay, but depending on how big your your stamps are, can determine this. Okay, when you look at your stamp set, and I'll show you, I decided to use the Enjoy the Moment, because what I recommended was getting a stamp set that had both some images and some sentiments in it that could be for a number of things, so that you can start with just getting one set and maybe use it for birthdays, for thinking of you, for a thank you, for whatever. Okay, happy birthdays on here. So anyway, and this one happens to be one of our retiring sets, and it is marked down, so it is $18.40 now rather than $23. I lost my train of thought what I was going to say about that. But anyway, so, oh, I know, this is what I was going to tell you. Down here, it does say, and I neglected to mention this yesterday, 13 cling stamps are included in this, and the recommended blacks are A, B, C, D, and E. What is E? Because I just have to look here. I have them all. But is this an E? Oh, an E is this black. It's wider. So this would fit on there. Because I guess it didn't need to be. See, I guess it depends on what you want. Do you rather have it long this way, or wide, a little bit wider? So it will fit on the E black. Okay. But anyway, that gives you an idea. Now, the only thing I would say is the letters that are higher than D, if it's saying that, like if you have a D block, or if you have gotten some type of kit from Stampin' Up! In the past, the size of the blocks that they give you is a D. So if the letters A, B, C, or D, they all will fit on the D block. Okay, E and above, you probably need that extra block. So just kind of to give you a little bit of an idea of if you need to get a different block or not. Okay, now one of the things that you can do besides getting like the card and envelope things that I mentioned is you can go to our website. So go to my webpage right here, Stamp Around the Table, that's stampinup.net. That when that comes up, you'll see over towards the left, like under the main heading, there's like a little, bar that's got different things. If you click on the Shop Now, you'll see there's a drop-down list. If you go down there to kits collection, so it's a collection of kits, okay? You click on that, and then that'll open up another page that says it's card kits or project kits, okay? Because there are, I think it was project kits. So then you would click on the card kits, and it'll take you to all the card kits that we have available. Now, if something sells out, the card kits, that their plan right now is to replace those card kits, but if something has sold out and the card kit hasn't been replenished yet, because especially with supply issues we've been having, it could take a bit, then it won't even show up on there. It only, what shows up is what is available at the moment. And right now there's quite a few. There's like 21 or something, maybe even a little more. Because they just introduced a couple of new things, so we may, there may be more, but I'm just saying there's plenty to choose from. And whatever kit you chose, if you did decide to choose a kit, each one has one of these blocks in it, and they have what they call a stamping spot. It's about an inch square, and it's got one stamp color in it. Okay, one of our stamp pad colors in it. So if you see something you think you like, you can click on it to get more information, and it will tell you what colors are in there. Some may have more than one. Most of them it's just one, but they also have enough to make, they have card bases and envelopes in there, and they sometimes also have like other things, like they'll have maybe little embellishments, something maybe like this that you could add to your card to add a little extra pow to it. It has they'll have some of these little stamp, what are they called? I know what they are and I can't tell you. Glue dots. Sometimes they also will have dimensionals, which here's a dimensional here. Okay, these are the little ones. They have some that are a little bigger as well, that if you put that in the back of something, it has it pop up off the page a little bit. All right, so I'm mentioning that because if you wanted to start with a kit, that will give you some of the basics that you need. Okay, and that minimally it would get you this and one stamp pad, little stamp pad, and what you can do if you don't want to have spend the money on a big stamp pad like this, there are what they call Reinkers, so that you can always add, when this is getting drying out, you've used it a lot, you can add some more ink to that, or you could add it to, you can get one Reinker for the color of the stamp pad that came, that little stamp spot that came in your kit, and you can refill it with that. Okay, so there's a few different things like that that you can do. Or you can, as I said, just get the card bases, or the card, what are they called? I just said it a minute ago. the card and envelope set that I was mentioning. And I hate when that happens. I know what I'm talking about, and then it's like my mind just kind of gives out on me. The note cards, if they're note cards and envelopes, okay? Or you could get a Memories and More set. All right, now thought I would start by showing you some different cards that have either been worked on this week, or I have a couple because I had this, this was last year, one of last year's stamp sets, and I did do some stuff then. I had more, but I gave some of the cards away. Imagine that. So yesterday's video, these are some of what I made, and I decided yesterday I was just doing what they call stamps, ink, and paper. Just make a card, just using the stamps and the ink, not adding any embellishments to it, not adding any other colored papers or anything. This one I even did do something on. These two I did something on the inside. This one I didn't, because just time's sake I just stopped. Also, you can decorate the envelopes, and I did decorate a couple envelopes yesterday, like this to go with this, and this to go with this. I didn't do one with that, just again time's sake, just to kind of, okay, so that's just so you can still make things and they still can look like something. Okay, now I chose yesterday to use the Memento Tuxedo black ink. Okay, today I decided I want to bring in a different color. So I wanted browns. So I decided either Early Espresso or Soft Suede. So when I was getting ready for class, I decided I was going to stamp in Early Espresso. So I started with this. Is that the right one? And I wanted to, yes, because I wanted to not only use a different color ink, but I wanted to show some ways you could add some color in that's not going to cost a lot of money. And again, if you have some of your, what did I do with them now? They weren't, oh, right here. Oh, silly. If you have some even just regular colored pencils. These can be watercolor pencils. What's nice with watercolor pencils is that you can take a little bit of water. So if you have what they call a water painter, which is like this, you put water in the barrel, and you can squeeze it out, and then, it becomes like a little paint, like a paintbrush. Or if you didn't have that, but you have some paintbrushes at home, you could use the paintbrush, and I meant to grab mine. See, I got a couple sizes. I do have some bigger, but again, you could have just a little thing of water, and you don't want too much water. So, just maybe get a little wet, and then on your scrap paper, you could take some of it off. So it's very minimal. All right. The other thing that we have, and I later when I put in information, I will add this. We have blender pens. I'll show you how it looks. This is how it comes, if I can get a hold of it. It comes in a package like this. There's 3 in a package. They're double-ended. Okay, and they last quite a while. And what I chose to do, now you don't have to do this, because when you're done coloring, if you take this and run it along your, and I did have some, let me get this, I had another sheet ready to go. I don't know what I do with it, but my scrap paper here, if you go along it, And actually, I didn't do that totally before because it was a little bit of light yellow, but now see, there's nothing. So you can go between colors if you do that. But I decided to do, because there's 3, so that's 6 ends. I try to do like green with one end, because usually once you do it, it stains the end a little bit. You'll see a little bit there. But when you wipe it off like that, it doesn't stay in there. It doesn't go on to another color. So if you did pink, it wouldn't look green or look pink. But I just decided there was enough, so this will be for greens. Another end might be for pinks. Another end might be for browns. You know, different things like that. It doesn't have to, but you don't necessarily have to do that. That was something I chose to do. Okay, so with this one, I stamped with the Early Espresso. And then I colored in using my yellow and this green. So this is actually daffodil yellow, daffodil delight, and this is granny apple green. And I colored in with that, and then I took this and I went over it. And one of the things I like about this, it doesn't make your paper as wet as these can, but it still does the job. And sometimes, you know, like when you color, you know, like there's like lines, and when you use this, it can help smooth the lines out. Now it's not 100%, and it may depend on how hard you pushed on that, but it kind of smooths it out. It makes it look a little more like watercoloring. Okay, but again, you don't have to do that. You could just color it in. Okay, now, so this one I colored in individually on there. Then I thought I wanted a little different idea. I wanted it to almost like be like a wash in the background. So I took the yellow and what did I use? I think I used the Cajun Craze, which is kind of a yellowy, browny yellow, yellowy brown. Okay, and this what I did is I like did this, and then I did this. So I just kind of mixed and matched them, and then I went over with this. Okay, I think those might be a little different color. Maybe I did use the brown. I think maybe I used the brown. But anyway, maybe this one. Yeah, I think I used this one with it. But then, yeah, that's more what I used. But anyway, and so I did that and got that background. I did just let it sit just enough to be sure it was dry. And then using the Early Espresso, I stamped these on it. Okay. So I just did that to show you that really still with minimal supply. So you don't have to use the water at all. This could have just been like this without using the water over it. And especially you already have some color pencils, go to it, you know. You don't have to buy more stuff, okay? So those are some examples of that. Then I did show people these some other ways. These are some cards that had been made previously, and this one is an A2 card. So the base was Early Espresso, and it's 4.5 or 4.25 by 5.5. So it's really, before you make it, it's 8.5 this way, 5.5 this way, and then you score it at 4.25. So when it's folded, that's how you get the 4.25 by 5.5. And then I just took a piece of our basic white cardstock. I cut it down to 4 by 5.25, and I just stamped it on there and just put it on. So if you wanted to add a color, you can always buy just an 8.5 by 11 pack of paper. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, so I will mention it now. The choices that you would have for the paper, go to the right direction here. Let me just show you. It's up in with the colors, so I got to get there. Okay, you can either get one package of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This has, I want to make sure I'm telling you correctly because I thought it said it on here, 24 sheets. Okay, so it's 24 sheets. So for example, this was the Early Espresso. So if I wanted that, I could get this 24 24 sheets of that. And if I only used it for card bases, that would give me 48, because like half of a piece of cardstock would be a card base. The other thing you can do is you can get an assortment of these and say, all right, that was in the neutral family. So let's just say we decide, okay, I want to get the neutrals. If you get the assortment, it's 20 sheets, so 2 of each of the 10 colors, 8.5 by 11 for $9. The 12 by 12, you can also get 12 by 12, that's $12.75, and you get, but again, 2 sheets of each of the 10 colors, that's 20 sheets. 24 sheets over here is $8.75 for that. And the only way you can get the 12 by 12, I'm sorry, is in the assortments, but at least you know that. So, but that might be a way to go, because then, either of these, because then you don't have just one color. You could have 2 sheets of a couple colors, play around to see what you like. So this is like for stepping it up a little, that you want to take the next step. Okay. So then the next thing I showed was one that I made. Again, this is, this is Bumblebee paper. The Bumblebee, by the way, is one of our in colors that will be retiring on May 3rd. So if there's any of those colors you want, now's the time to get them. All right, so this was a Bumblebee base. And then this DSP, Designer Series paper, that was from last year. That has retired, but I did find, we do have, oh, here it is right in front of me. Oh my gosh. Losing my mind here. Short drive, to get there. All right. But for example, especially with these, because they're naturey, we have the Beauty of the Earth paper. Okay. This again, all the paper in this catalog is going to be gone for sure by May 3rd. May 2nd is the last you can order it. And again, we're at the point now, it's as supplies last. So if you go into the website, you can see, is it still available? If that's not, there's some other naturey type things in here that you could get to, that would still be available, that you might be able to use with it. Okay. So for this one, this has the card base is from Cardstock. And then I have the Designer Series paper. Then I took a piece of white, basic white cardstock, and it's a little bit, wide, overlaps there like that. And just, that's what I put the sentiments on. It's hard to see here, but I do have, so you can see like there's a little bit of, it's up a little bit. I have dimensionals under there, and I also had put on some bling. So again, the dimensionals, the bling, that's another step. That's another step up. You don't have to do that. That's just something that if you wanted to, as time goes on and you want to add more to what you're doing, you want to do more with your cards, then you can slowly get these extra things and add to your stash. Then the last one I'm going to show you, I didn't make this. Somebody else did. I think her name's Beth. I'm trying to remember for sure. And this was given in a swap that I was involved with. The paper here is crumb cake. And so the card base is crumb cake. Again, when it's closed, it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then she took another piece of crumb cake that was just a little bit smaller. So this would be 4 1/4 by 5. No, I didn't say that right. 4 by 5 1/4. And she ran it through with what we call an embossing folder. It's a plastic folder. I'm not going to grab one right now, but you put that in, you put it through a machine, and it squishes it, and it adds this. So again, that's something down the road for new stampers, but just to say that's something that is available. Then she took a piece of black cardstock, basic black, and she took and she added that there. Well, before she added it, and she took another piece of the crumb cake. So see, each one's a little smaller. And then she first stamped on there in black. And then another thing that, again, down the road, so just something to look forward to, another thing thing you can use later, learn later, is this is what we call heat embossing, where you stamp it with a clear, sticky ink, and then you sprinkle some embossing powder over the top, brush the dump off the excess, and then you heat it, and you get this, and it's a little bit shiny, a little bit raised, and then she put a piece of ribbon around there and put that down on top. Okay, so each one of these is like just up a little more from the one before. Again, you don't have to be doing this. You don't have to even do this or this. You can just stick with these, whether you want them just plain or whether you want to add some color. Okay, I'm going to stamp something. I'm going to stamp a couple things just to kind of show you. So let me grab, here's this. So I am going to do what I did on that other one, just to kind of show you that. Okay, so, and let me see. So here's what I did with the yellow pencil. And I'm going to do a brown. Guess I'm going to do a third one on, and I'm going to do this. So I used basically Daffodil Delight was a yellow, the brown was Early Espresso, and this is Cajun Craze, which is kind of a yellowy brown. Okay, so you could leave it just like that if you wanted. Okay, but I'm going to show you with this just because I want to really introduce it to you and have you see. And for this I just did this over it, just kind of the same type of movement. Okay, so it can just kind of smooths it out a little bit. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of combine that with this a little bit, I think. I'm going to see if it will work for me because I hadn't really thought about it that much. I'm going to try these just because for me. And this time I wanted to try it in soft suede. So it's going to be a little light. It's a lighter brown than that. And just to show you, do I have it on? I thought I had it someplace. I'll show you the difference here. Here's the lighter color. Okay. And here's the darker color. All right. So this time I'm going to, so this is Early Espresso and this is soft suede. So I wanted for this one to use a soft suede. I'm going to clean this off just because the lighter to the darker doesn't affect the darker, but if you put darker on the lighter, there's a little ink left on there, which there may be. It could make this not be the color I want. Okay, so let me see. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have a couple of them, like one like that, one like that, maybe one up here. I'm going to start with that. I may add some more, I'm not sure. Okay, and then kind of like I did before, I'm going to, now you could color this in browns if you wanted, but because I want you to be able to see some contrast, I'm going to first do the yellow. So I'm coloring in like here with the yellow. Okay. I'm going to do some green also. And just a little bit of green in here. It's like kind of like it's fall and it's going from green to browns. There's some yellow shining through. Okay, doesn't necessarily have to be, but that's kind of what I decided I wanted to do here. And just however you want to color it. Okay, some greens and yellows there. Now, going over the yellows first. Okay, here's my, oh, it's down here. It probably won't matter, but because the green's a little darker, but then go over the greens. And it just kind of helps blend the colors a little bit. But again, you don't have to. I could have left that just colored without doing that, but I since I wanted to introduce these to people that it may be new to, I wanted to do that. So there's that. And you could add more things. I'm just going to put the sentiment now. Good things are worth waiting for. Okay, so there's that. Now, if you wanted to step it up even more, you can add bling to this. We've got rhinestones. We've got sequins that that are have a sticky on the back. So what's it called? Self-adhesive rhinestones. We've got some other things too. We've got some pearls. So there's a bunch of different things that you can choose from. Okay, so it's always your choice how much you do, how much you don't do. All right, so that I just wanted to give you that. So here's the three that I colored. This one, these two were before. This one's kind of a combination of those two. All right, and then the last thing I wanted to show you today was if you did want to go the next step and add a little bit of color to it. And if you want to get some cardstock, you might want to even start with some to grab a thing of a package of the basic white. The basic white, you get 40 packages and 40 pieces, and it's a little bit more. I don't have it right in front of me, so I can't tell you right now. But say you decided I'm going to get a little extra basic white, and maybe I want a color. And in this case, this is our Bumblebee again, which is retiring. So if that's something you do want, take advantage and get it now. Now I tried to make this the same length as that, and sometimes even when with careful measuring, it's a little longer. So it's best just to put it on, finish it, and then when you're done, if there is stuff sticking over, that you can trim it down. Okay, so this, I can't even remember what I did a few minutes, it was not that long ago, but 2.5 by 5, and then I took a piece. This is one of part of that the nature paper, and of course, again, I know the name of it, and when I try to tell you, it just runs out of my head. Beauty of Friendship. Okay, so, and I'm going to put this also just like that. Okay, put that over. So very simple. And then you're gonna, when you do this, then you definitely need to have some type of adhesive. You can use glue, you can get tape runners. It's whatever you prefer to use. Okay, so that goes there, and I'll just show you. This one I'll do with glue, just to show you a couple different ways. Stampin' Up has tape runners. They've been out of the refill, so I have, when they come back in, I have to get that. But like a lot of things, you can get them. There's other places you can get it. So it's whatever you want. So, and because this is really pretty, looks like fall to me, and in a sense, these up here, make sure I get that. And one thing with glue is if it's a little off, you can move it just a smidge. There, I think that's pretty straight, or straight as I'm going to get it anyway. And just give it a minute to dry. Okay, and then I do have some white, and I was thinking, do I want this? Do I want it this way? I think I might want that even smaller. I don't know. All right, I think this one I'm going to do Enjoy the Moment. And I'm going to use, see, this has both the soft suede and the Early Espresso in it. So I'm going to put this in the middle okay, Enjoy the Moment. So that can go there. And then I want to do some, I was going to use these, because these little, I know a lot of times we call them helicopters. The kids call them helicopters. And I just kind of thought that might look kind of neat with the trees there. Oh, I think it's, now you can, Oh, darn it, I dropped it on that. Okay. Move this over to the side. I dropped that on there. Oh, wow. You know, I'm going to move this. And I think I want that just a little more. See if I can get it. You don't have to be quite as precise as this. I just kind of would like it to be, well, that's going to stay like that. Okay. So, and this you can just put here. If you wanted to use, I'm going to do this just so you can see, maybe. Okay. All right. I'm going to use, these are the mini ones because right now I have to find where I have my extra time to replenish my regular size ones. But these are glued or dimensionals. And because but you could put this on flat. I just wanted to show you again something that could take you to the, you know, to step up your cards, okay? But not needed, not necessary. You can just use your glue. And again, if you did have bling and you wanted to put it on, you could. And sometimes that's how we disguise some of these. You know what I might do for this? This is one way to do it, just like it was planned, like you planned it. Almost like it's just a way to almost make your own paper, own designer series paper. Just doing stuff like this. And you could then do a few more, maybe something else here, something else there, maybe the tail of one here, here. Whoop, I missed it. There. Well, I guess that's it. There. There. Okay. So then it suddenly is more like you meant to do it. I don't like how that looks. I have to kind of, there, that's better, a little better. Anyway, so there's always ways to get around stuff. Like I got these extra little because of this when it fell on that. So I guess you could maybe try and do another, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave that. Okay, so I hope this was helpful to people that are newer to stamping and help you to try some things. Okay, any comments, any questions? Your feedback is welcome. We just always ask that you be kind. I try to be kind to everybody, and just, you know, if we're kind to each other, it definitely helps things a lot. Okay, so there's the ones from today's class. And I will be adding in fact, maybe I'll move this. I will be adding stills of this just so that you can see it if you like. All right, so there we go. If you have not, if you like this this video, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate you subscribing. Okay, so I'll kind of hold these down here a little just so you can see them a little better. And there we go. So it's really pretty simple. You just have to take your time and don't beat yourself up. And what I do a lot of times is use scrap paper to kind of lay out what I think I want to do. And before going to my card, that's another tip that, especially for new stampers, you might find helpful. All right. Thanks so much for watching. And until we meet again, happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.